This is day 2 at PMI London, and I'm joined by Einav Dinur from Inneractive. We all talked about Einav's session yesterday, which was about advertising in the age of bots and virtual reality. So, Einav, it seems to be the sort of recurring theme at the events this year, sort of the emerging technologies and the use in advertising. So, tell us, are bots taking over?
You know, it's interesting because the new reality and technology are really going to change the way we serve ads and that users engage with ads. And I think bots will take over, but not necessarily in the sense that people think. We see in China, WeChat, which is a company owned by Tencent, one of the giants in China. People are doing everything through that app. They're not just chatting and sharing media with their friends, they're booking their cabs. It's a payment platform. They're doing all e-commerce, and it's convenient. I think users are getting lazy, quote unquote. They don't want to have 20 apps. They don't want to open one app for this and another app for that. Facebook had said openly that they plan to be the WeChat of the West. Google launched Allo, Amazon and Alexa. So it's really, my take is that it's really going to become about the IPA, the Intelligent Personal Assistant, and we're going to start engaging with that for things that we use apps for today. So in that sense, I think bots are taking over, and there's probably only room for a couple of the giants to control that portal.
So tell us, what are the opportunities for advertisers in the advertising in the age of bots? What are the biggest opportunities?
I think first of all, advertisers are going to need to change their state of mind. Users want, the banner blindness is now growing and being applied to other ad formats, and advertisers are going to have to be more creative. But I think there's a real opportunity, everything around content marketing and kind of blurring that line between content and ads. There's so many cool, even if you just look at the mobile phone and all the things you could do with it. We had on the panel AdLudio yesterday, and they do really cool things with mobile ads where you can swipe, you can shake, you can tilt. So advertisers that take advantage of those opportunities on these mediums are really going to be able to engage users more. If you think forward on VR, there's some awesome opportunities for advertisers to do cool things there. But I think the key takeaway for me is, as an advertiser, you have to tailor the ad to the medium.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of repurposed videos coming from desktop to mobile, and that just doesn't work. So advertisers that can take advantage of the cool little aspects of the different channels are really going to be able to engage with users.
Yeah. Do you think VR is going to be commonplace anytime soon?
To be honest, I don't think it's going to be commonplace in the way that, that movies show everyone walking around with the goggles that show you information about people. I think it's going to become commonplace in specific areas. Gaming is one thing where I think it's already growing. So the same audience that would buy the PlayStation are probably going to want to be able to have the VR goggles and be able to do that. I think we might see it more in places like cinemas. Maybe it will be the way that we watch TV. But personally, I'm not sure we're going to be seeing people walking around with VR goggles anytime soon. So in that sense, I'm skeptical. But I think, and everything that has to do with viewing things and stuff like that, I think it will.
Okay, so if no goggles on everyone's faces, what do you think in 5 years will change? Sort of what will be the biggest change?
That's really interesting. I think with the Internet of Things kind of taking over, and we're already seeing, like Amazon make a huge move for that and wanting to kind of be in your home and the smart home. I think that's going to have a huge impact on our industry as well. One thing that came up in our panel yesterday, which is probably one of the things that I'm taking away from this the most, is how voice search and voice interaction is really replacing the way we interact with our mobile phone now or with other devices. Right now we talk a lot about screens. That could be going away. I mean, of course, you'll still have the screen, but your way of engaging with the screen is not typing and looking, but talking. And when you think about that, that's completely going to transform the way ads are served, the way publishers are, engaging. So I think that's going to be one huge change in terms of how users engage with content. I think on the back end side, measurement is really going to change. I think the way we're tracking things, the way we're paying for ads today is totally going to change. with technology allowing us to monitor engagement, reactions. Even Ben Phillips from MediaCom brought up yesterday, if we could start measuring emotional reactions to ads, I feel that the payment structures and the mechanisms are going to change to measuring emotional reactions, engagement in that sense. So that's going to be cool. We were joking yesterday that we're going to turn to pay per tier or something like that in 5 years' time. But wouldn't that be cool?
So with all those crazy things coming into play and those new technologies, what does the industry need to do to keep up?
It's a real challenge, because in these conferences we talk a lot about the future, but we have to remember that the reality today is still a bit different. So I think my first advice to marketers would be, find the right balance between staying ahead of the game and planning for the future and thinking ahead, but also realizing that, today what works might be something different. I think advertisers need to explore and experiment with what works and what doesn't work for their specific audience and the users that they're trying to reach. And my biggest advice is, like I said before, don't repurpose. Have a different strategy for the different channels. Think of the advantages of the different channels and really try to leverage that versus just taking one thing and trying to repurpose it for the different channels. So I think that's my biggest advice.
Okay. And I've been hearing a lot of discussions sort of the debate machine versus human. What's your take on that?
It's a good question. I mean, I think again it comes back to me to the whole bot thing, and it's going to be. I'm really curious to see how that comes out, and our engagement and the whole voice thing and the engagement with the bots. I think it's definitely going in that direction, probably not as fast. It really depends on the technology, right? I mean, if voice recognition works well and we start to have the machine replacing the humans, at least for the interactions, that's gonna change. But if it can't recognize accents, and so, I know I struggle with Siri when I try to tell her to call my Israeli friends and their names, she just calls someone else. But yeah, I'm definitely staying tuned. It's going to be an interesting couple of years coming up.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty excited to see what happens. But thank you very much for your insights. That was very interesting. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.